Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. How are you? I am Dr. Lindsay Huey, lead faculty for extremity management, along with Dr. Mark Gallant and Dr. Eric Chaconas. So pumped to be with you today on Clinical Tuesday, as always, my favorite day of the week. Today, I am going to talk with you about how we can say less better through the art of using external cueing. I'm going to tell you how and why that's important, and then leave you with an example and a charge for change in the clinic with our patients and those we are mentoring. But before I do want to share a couple courses that Marky and I have coming up to you in 2022. And yes, we already have courses on the schedule for 2023. So if you can't make it this year, we will definitely see you next year for extremity management. Course is coming up though. So I will be this weekend with the Delta crew in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You might be able to squeeze an extra spot if you're thinking about it. We are pretty stacked, but no, we will be in Louisiana again. Mark will be there the October 15th, 16th. So if you can't make it this round, head there because we'll be in Homa again. In addition, we will be in National City September 10th and 11th. There are still plenty of spots left to join us there. And then we have another course in New York. So moving over back to East Coast, September 24th, 25th. We'd love to see you. And then again, back out West Coast, October 1st, 2nd, Simi Valley. So check us out on ptonice.com. If you're thinking about jumping into extremity management, Mark and I and extremity team would love to have you there. So today, say less better, the art of external cueing. So what kind of inspired me for this chat or PT on Ice topic today is our CEO, Jeff Moore. He's always saying, do less better. And he's constantly challenging us as a team in our teaching, in our own clinical practices and reasoning, and then our mentoring, that do less better is the key. And that really got me thinking about how we can do less better with our words. Words we know are a powerful vehicle for learning and change for ourselves and in the clinic. They sculpt understanding, reality, action, and then feelings. In the rehab space, we have this opportunity to use our words and to teach exercise better. And thinking about what's our end goal when we're thinking about teaching movement is we want successful execution of the movement. But with less words comes more efficiency. If we can reduce our words in our delivery of language when prescribing exercise, we have this unique opportunity to be more effective in eliciting the movement production and it being less taxing on the learner. So by saying less better, we can do this in two different ways. So it comes down to picking the right cue, internal versus external, and then using less words to elicit that movement. Can you use the least amount of words to produce the movement or activity? So first, cue type. We have two options, internal versus external. Today, we'll focus on external, but I want to highlight both of them so you kind of understand the art of external cueing today. So an external cue, it is most appropriate when we are going after multi-segmental joint motion, right? When we are going after strength, getting our humans to move their body or an object in space. I want you to think Betty, after a total knee replacement, we want her to pick up her laundry basket and her groceries with effectiveness. An external cue encourages focus on the feature of an environment or movement outcome, rather than focusing on internal on a muscle joint like we do with an internal focus, right? Where you focus on a key single joint motion. When we are thinking about external cueing, we need to be thinking about eliciting action and less emphasis on that internal focus of a specific muscle or a specific body position. And so today we'll focus on that today. External cueing has been shown to have a superior effect on performance. We see that on a systematic review and meta-analysis level, actually coming out of the American Psychology Journal by Chua et al. And team. You'll see Gabrielle Wolf, a leader in the space, on that journal as well. But external cueing is superior because it elicits greater performance in a more effective and efficient way when we're completing a motor task or encouraging our patients to complete a motor task. It is applicable across the lifespan, so young to 4-year-old to 99-year-old, and it's applicable to those with different clinical conditions. So a healthy individual and a person after stroke. So it's very generalizable across those two populations or all populations. And then it's very generalizable to diverse skill sets from novice to expert. So there's lots of evidence for using external cueing in the clinic for our humans. If I haven't told you enough on external cueing yet, it also allows us to sculpt the environment to make a patient successful. And ideally, again, we'll do this with less words and less focus on the body. If we think about a sculptor, right, how they model their clay, it's a salient process. It involves carving, modeling, assembling, and casting. It's really a subtractive method in which excess material is removed from wood or stone. I want us to think about, sorry, someone's calling right in the middle of this, which is such a bummer. So it looks like it's kind of cutting off on Instagram, and I apologize if that's happening. Hopefully, we're still good on YouTube. But anyway, so back to how I was chatting. Can someone give me a wave or a thumbs up that we're doing okay on Instagram? Because even though I had notifications silenced, someone is calling and the screen is freaking out. I don't know if anyone can chime in that's here, but let me know if Instagram's working or not. So, anyway, as I was saying, as PTs, like a sculptor, we have this opportunity to model and sculpt the environment for our patient. And it's our responsibility to extract movement with the least amount of words and cues as possible. And I'll tell you, this isn't easy for us as PTs, right? We tend to want to show what we know and use a lot of words to describe a task. So I want to make it easier for you. And I want to put in perspective that if we think about most of our patients, they are with us and here to get stronger, to increase not only functional competence, but functional dominance. And we're going to help patients do this by going after strength. And when we think about strength and resilience for our humans, it always includes multi-segmental joint motion, which means full body motion, which means a strength dose, which means external cueing is always the way here, not internal. The way we do this and the way we create this template of ease and salience is through 3D cueing. And this comes from Nick Wiggleman. He is a leader in the space of cueing and motor learning. The art of coaching is one of my favorite, the language of coaching. I want to show you my book. The language of coaching is one of our favorite books at Extremity Management when we think about cueing. So a lot of what you'll hear next is based out of Nick. But what he'll say is that using 3D cueing, description, direction, distance, is that template for helping your patient be successful, especially when we're thinking about eliciting multi-segmental joint motion. So if we think about description, we're going to use a verb or analogy to elicit action. Direction, we're going to use a preposition that implies movement towards or away from something. Distance, it's usually going to be some noun indicating how far or close something is. 3D cueing allows for a template to invoke understanding of the movement through an external environmental focus. So if we compare and think about the strict press and how we might use a lot of words or overuse our words, it would look like this when we're describing body, position, and execution. Feet between shoulder and hip width apart, grip outside of shoulders, brace neutral spine throughout, retract the head before pressing vertically, reposition the head through the bar to neutral, active shoulder pressing into the bar, rib cage stays down throughout, and then return. Lots of words, right? About 39 words. If we can reduce the words, we can allow the patient to experience the movement better. It's less taxing for their brain. They can focus then on the movement, and then they can even enjoy the movement a little bit more when we use less words. And we always have to be mindful that we don't use so few words that it loses meaning. But when we think about overall movement success, we can have the best dosage and exercise, but if it cannot be executed well, then it will be ineffective when we're thinking about going after strength and resilience for our human. Same movement example, strict press with less words. Push the ground away as you drive the bar towards the ceiling. Push the ground away as you drive the bar towards the ceiling. 12 words versus 39 words in our previous example. And if we dissect it with that 3D cueing template model, description, push the ground away and drive the bar towards the ceiling. Push and drive are the action verbs, they're the descriptors. Direction, we're talking about the ground moving away and then towards the ceiling. These are prepositions implying movement direction. Up, and then distance. We're describing from floor to ceiling movement overall, being generated from legs up without all those words. Team, if we believe fitness forward is the way to decreasing vulnerability in our humans, that if we want to tip them past wellness into fitness, then multi-segmental joint movement coaching is a must with all our humans, no matter what extremity joint it is. Specifically, we're thinking probably shoulders when we think about strict press. But we must be able to coach movement in a way that not only empowers and elicits the movement, but that gets our patients freaking excited about the movement. And when you inundate with a lot of words, that excitement and that desire gets lost. So if we can say the same thing with less words through an external cue, we will make our patients more successful. We will make them enjoy movement more. We will be able to load them up more and help them decrease any vulnerability more. So sculpting an environment of success for your patients with purpose requires an organized template. Use the 3D cueing model by Nick Wigelman that involves description, direction, distance. Prioritize less words in your external cueing. It saves patient RAM and allows for increased learning and improved execution. Cue less better. Say less better to spur on more fitness this Tuesday with your patients and with those you're mentoring. Join me in 2 weeks to discuss how we can say less better in internal cueing and where there's a place for that in serving our patients and others. Happy Clinical Tuesday, team. Thanks for bearing with me when that call came through. Take care.